Good morning, children. Welcome to the online classes for the 8th standard of 12th period. So, in the last class, we have discussed the point related to the public administration. In the public administration, in the last end part, we have seen the scope of the public administration. Now, in this class, we are going to discuss the point related to the according to some authors, some scholars, some writers, the description of public administration was described in a different way. It means it has explained in the particular different way. So, according to the Luther Gulick, you know the Luther Gulick was one of the writer. He has described, and the next philosopher was Simon. These are the two people who have described the public administration into the different part with a narrow scope. So there, according to the public administration scope, the limited executive activities we are going to find in the government sector. That the government sector points are, first one is planning, second one organization, third one stopping, fourth one direction, fifth one coordination, sixth reporting and budgeting. These are the plans related to the one of the code given by the Gulick. The Gulick, who was going to be called as the philosopher, and his supporter by the name Simon. So here they have described one by one the word POSD and CORB. So post of the code given to the public administration. Now planning means, planning, you know well the meaning of planning, but according to this Luther, we are finding the explanation was given what are the functions we are going to see in the public administration with this perspective code. First one, planning. Planning means any agenda. Agenda means one kind of a activity or a plan made that government machinery seeks to implement by working on the methods of implementation. Okay, the plan may be made for a particular agenda, particular activity, but it will describe that plan will be get a success on the basis of the implementation of that particular public administration or any kind of administration. So planning become important to work with the plan. Second one we are going to see in the public administration, that is O for organization. Organization means in one organization or in one particular administration we are finding the different types of departments. For example, you can take the example of one of the public department related to the Karnataka. You take Vidhan Sabha itself. There we are finding the different departments related to the financial sector, related to the educational sector, related to the industrial sector. All these are separated but coming in one administration. That is called as the next one word is O for organization. It means various departments and structures like division and other administrative structures and enduring the roles and responsibilities for each of the achievements desired goals. So every minister belongs to any state or the center. They have some goals. So suppose they want to achieve that goals, means the administration will go with the particular organization. Then third one is stopping, we are going to see. the staff related to this administration. Without staff, there is no run of organization, there is no plan. So, recruitment and training needed for the staff for a particular administration. If also include the forming the rules of regulations, a civil service should be there in the public administration. Civil service means a particular rules and regulations should be followed in a particular administration by the staff members according to that division. Next one is we must have the direction. D for direction. Without the direction, one administration cannot be achieve or success the goals need to complete for that administration. So, direction and orders to the various departments are very important. And the fifth one, we need the coordination. CO for coordination. Coordination means facilitating the better interaction between the various departments. So, now only I told education department is there, industrial department is there. So, many type of departments we are going to see in the government sector, but all the departments should get a good plan for getting success of the public administration. One person cannot be make the achievement of the goal of the public administration. With the support of all departments only we can complete it. So, these are the functions should be followed in the administration. And the sixth point we are going to see are for reporting. Okay, we have made the plan. We have started to get the organization departments. We have recruited the staff. We have given the directions, trainings, and we all are together. But this report should be submitted to the particular authority or a officer belongs to the public administration. Because the senior officers who related to the public administration, they will see what are the functions are going in this administration. So, and after that, they are going to give the direction for the conducting of research related to the documentation presented by these departments, and they will get the investigation. The last point related to seventh one is that is budgeting. So, after making all the plans, after getting the investigation, the government will come to the conclusion. It will provide the budget related to the particular plan. You can take the example of development of industries in India. Suppose government has made the plan and one government having only 2 lakhs of rupees and the plan has become for the 4 lakhs rupees. So, it will become the unsuccessful plan. It will become the unsuccessful because the finance remains with the government is 2 lakhs rupees and the plan goes for the 4 lakhs rupees. So, excess of 2 lakhs will make problem to the government to think about that plan. So, managing and the financial planning, expenses, the income, calculations and auditing. The scope of the public administration become very important in the part of public administration in today's work or the life of the human beings. Without the plan, there is no success in the life for an individual person. Like that way, without the support of the all departments, it is unsuccessful to complete the process of public administration by the any government with any type of functions. So, there we have to be follow from civic, we have to be follow the civil societies to complete the process in the public administration. Now, by this way, the government, the aspirations and the desires of the people have further enlarged to the scope of public administration. So, due to the new type of plans was making by the government, now, you know the thirstiness we are going to say, now the public thirstiness has become more to get achievement in their life due to the thing public administration. That is called as the post-hoc, which is described by the Luther, Gulick and the Simon. Now come to the next point needed for the public administration is recruitment and the training. So the next point is the recruitment and the training needed for the public administration. So first the government has to make the plan for the recruitment. Recruitment means getting the employment toward the public administration, which is the staff needed for particular administration. So see here, the first point we are going to discuss, that is the recruitment. Then after we will see the training. Now in the recruitment process, the searching of eligible candidates for the civil services and the motivating them. Civil services, you know the civil services means IAS, KS officers, that should be searched by the government by getting the eligibility, and motivating them to complete the civil services is called as the recruitment. So for that, an efficient administration is based on the efficient recruitment process. So to select this candidate, to get employment these good officers, we must have the good administration to recruit these people for the civil services. Now if an efficient person or a honest eligible person is selected to the civil services, the person delivers what? This person delivers good public service through the new creative ideas and intelligence and the positive thinking and positive behavior of this person. If we are not finding the good person for administration, we are not finding the success of the plan of the government. And if the recruitment process is more scientific, it is going in the systematic way and an efficient, the public administration become more efficient with these systematic plans. By having the efficient civil services, we will get the success for the public administration or to complete the process economically, politically or socially related to the Indian government or any state. So recruitment has a prominent role in the staff administration. So recruitment become a very important role to get staff for a particular administration. And there are two kinds, or according to the OG stall. So one of the person having the knowledge related to the public administration, recruitment, he is going to tell us the recruitment is the base of staff structure. Recruitment, what is recruitment? Recruitment is the base of staff structure. It will give the idea how to select the staff for a particular administration. That is recruitment. Who is telling? OG stall. So according to this, we are finding, according to the OG stall, we are going to see there are methods related to the recruitment. There are methods we are finding related to the recruitment, and according to him, we are finding for the staff recruitment in the administration, there are two kinds of parts or the divisions we are going to see in the recruitment. One is going to be called as the direct recruitment and another one is going to be called as the internal recruitment. One is direct recruitment and another one is internal recruitment. Internal recruitment. So here, what the meaning of direct recruitment and what is the meaning of internal recruitment? So the direct recruitment means the candidates, they are selected for the fresh candidates in this department. So see here, these two departments may be called in the other way, that is external recruitment and the recruitment by the promotion. So this is called as the external recruitment and this is called as the promotional recruitment. Now direct recruitment means the most of the popular and the scientific methods of recruitment. Direct recruitment, the recruiting eligible candidates through the competitive exams. They will select these candidates by making or following the method of getting the exams, conducting the exams, and they will follow the fixed pattern needed for the direct recruitment. So it means directly they are going to conduct the exam and they will follow some steps and they will recruit the candidate for these departments. The next point we are going to see, the candidate need to have, these candidates who are selecting for this particular administration, they must have some general qualifications and specific qualifications to enter into the services through the examination or the direct recruitment. Now internal recruitment means the people already who are selected for this department, but they are getting promoted to the higher post. That is called as the internal recruitment. So it's here selecting the eligible in-service personnel or in-service personnel to the higher position is called as the internal recruitment. Most of the countries have adopted this method. It means first they will select it for the lower post and afterwards some experience they are promoted to the higher post. This type of method not only India followed in the public administration, but many countries have followed or adopted this method for the recruitment. So that is called as the promotional method. Now come to the point, after the recruitment there must be the training for these staff. Now we have selected the staff. Now we must have the training. Without the training they will not have the idea in which department they are going to be work and what work should be done by these people. So the training become the important part. The efficiency of the civil services personnel depends on the quality of the training received by the particular person. If he is not getting the training well, so he is not going to work well in the organization. As the modern administration or the administrative functions are complex in the nature. In the present day administration, if the functions are very complicated, the personnel need to undergo proper trainings to know the manage of these administrative functions which are very difficult. So this can be complete, this can be successful only through the proper training. The personnel can gain the necessary knowledge related to perform the role in the public administration. That becomes the very important. That's why the training become a very important part for the staffing after getting the recruitment for any organization. Now the training has a special place. A training having the special place in the public administration. Why? Because since the challenge of managing, it becomes the challenge of managing and running the complex technical works is a part method of one of the government, and it becomes a very important part of a training to increase the process or the training process of the administration. So that's why now training becomes very important for the public administration or any organization. But in this class, in this topic, we are only studying about the public department or public administration. So all things, most of the recruitment, after recruitment, we must have the training for this stuff. So as like we have seen the types of recruitment, we are going to see the type of training also, because different departments needed the different type of training. So that's why we are going to see the public administration has divided training into different categories. That is called as the types of trainings. What? Types of trainings. So in the types of trainings, we are going to see the formal and the informal trainings, pre-service and the post-beginning trainings, short-term and long-term trainings, departmental and the central institute trainings, then skill training and background training. So these are the 5 categories we are going to see in the types of trainings which was formulated by the any public administration for giving training and making the recruitment of good staff to this department. So first we come to the what is the meaning of formal and the informal training. So the formal training is a training that received by the particular employee, particular person, employee selected for the department, which is carefully planned in the advance. Formal means it was planned in the advance and the training was given to this particular selected person. This training is provided under the supervision of a very expert persons related to the particular department. And the informal training means the training that an employee or a person who selected for this post gains while doing his duty. At the time of duty itself, he is going to get the training. An employee receives the training during his day-to-day execution of the duties is called as the informal. It is not going in the formal way, but it is going in the formal way. Without training, there is no duty, but with duty, this person is going to perform the training. Now, next point of training we are going to see, that is pre-service and the post-beginning training. So, here pre-service training and the post-beginning of service training is, first we have to see the pre-service means the training prepares, it makes the plan, prepares for the future employment, for upcoming employment, for the civil services, which is not selected, but to select, they will make the plan. That is called as the pre-service training. And post-beginning training is called as this type of training is provided those who have been selected, the person selected for the specific post, but this training aims at imparting better skills and developing the efficiency among these persons. Now, third point, we are going to see that short-term and the long-term training. So, one is called as the short-term training, another one is going to call as the long-term training. So, in the short term training is, it may be 4 to 6 week duration. There is no long period. It may be the training given for the 1 week. It may be the training given for the 3, 4 or 5, 6 weeks. Training is given for this person who is selected for the any department. For example, a doctor. So, I will give the example. A doctor selected through the Public Service Commission undergo only the 6 week of training, because already this person has trained at the time of when he was in the pre-service. Because at the time of training or when he was getting course, there only he got the training. So, here was going to give only for the 5 to 6 week of training. So, next point is long term training. The long term training is going to be called as a continuous in nature. It is a process of continuous process, and the duration for this training, it may be for the 1 year, it may be for the 2 years, because it is called as the long term. You can take the example, the training given to these candidates would be 1 to 2 years, and these are selected all in Indian services. For example, the type of training given to the IS officers, type of training given to the KS officers. These are going to be called as the what? Long term training provided to these candidates. Now, departmental and the central institute trainings. So, another point, we are finding the departmental trainings, and second one is the central institute trainings. So, here the training providing by the specific department, you can take the educational department only. There we are finding the specific training for only the educational skills development. Only the educational skills development, that is called as the department following the specific training for the particular candidate selected for the particular department is called as the departmental training. For example, another example I will give, you can take the example, a person selected for the police post. So, the person who selected for the police post, he will not get the training of a teacher. He will get the training of the point related to the police department itself, not the points or the skills related to the teacher. That is called as the departmental training. Now, the next point, training in the central institute means the training provided by the central government in institution is called as the central or the center institute training. Example, the training provided by the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Administrative Institute in the Mussoorie is to be going to be called as this training provided by the Central Institute, because this department is belong to the government of India, not for any state. If you are getting training in the state, that is called as a state training, and if you are getting the training through the Central Institute or the Central Department, that is called as the Central Institute. So, one example given related to the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Administrative Institute, which is coming in the Mussoorie place. Now, last point of this training, types of training, we are going to see skills training and the background training. Skills, developing the skills, developing the new ideas. And next point is the background training. So, come to the skills training means a training aiming with, one of the training aiming with and increasing the skills of the personnel is called as a skill training. Developing the new creative ideas by a particular person, that is called as the skill training. For example, a compulsory, you can take the related to the pointer of education itself. So the compulsory training was given in the educational institute. We can take the example of B.Ed or M.Ed. Bachelor of Education training given to the particular teacher. Why? Because he should get the idea how type of teaching should be provided in the schools. That is called as skill provided by this course. Skill provided by this department to the particular person to develop the new skills. Now, another point we are going to see the related to the a training that ends with the providing a general awareness is called as the background training. With the particular department training or developing the new skills, we must have the awareness program related to the background of this particular department. That is called as the training with the background. An example related to the background training is, we can take the example of one of the institute related to the Mysore side. So the training provided in this Mysore institute gives the background training related to the administrative services. How to live in the administration, what type of steps should be followed in the administration while we are working in the particular department. So like this way, we are going to find the training related to the particular public administration. So these are the few points we are going to study related to the types of training. So by this way, today we have studied the point related to the recruitment, we have studied the point related to the training, and by completing this topic, I will stop the topic here only, and the remaining topic we will continue in the next class. Thank you.